college for. Good morning. Welcome back to Cover Your Assets. Jason and Derek Walgrave, Todd Rooker, Craig Nestor, and you, 855-835-8500. That's 855-835-8500. You can get your hands on a copy of the Financial Crisis Bible. It's free, great information. Now, guys, we have a huge topic. I mean, you guys cover all manner of personal finance, crisis, and everything. So let's hit the real estate side of this a little bit, Mr. Walgrave.
You know, right now there is opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity, you know, not only for first-time home buyers and, you know, people that want to get into a house with the potential of a lot of appreciation, but for the investor or the new investor that's out there. Derek and I work with a lot of people that come to us and they want to invest in real estate for the first time. Maybe it's a rental property, or maybe it's a property that we find that's a foreclosure or bank owned, or it's a short sale, and it's something that they want to buy, do a rehab on it, and then turn around and sell it. There's opportunity out there all over the place. I can tell. Yesterday I was with a couple up in the northern suburbs. We looked at a home that was originally on the market for $450,000, and it is currently on for about $299,000. We're going to put in an offer for $250,000. This is a house that is 4,600 square feet on a lake, in the suburbs, in the Twin Cities here. It needs some work, maybe $20,000, $30,000 worth of work, but they're going to put themselves in a position that they're going to do the work on it, and in 5 or 10 years, they're going to have some equity. I mean, they're most likely going to have quite a bit of equity. This is also a family that right now they're going through a short sale. We have to sell their home on a short sale. They're in a fortunate position where the mom is able to purchase the home for them. But the point is there's opportunity and there's options out there. And on the real estate end of things, there's a lot of opportunity.
A lot of people are terrified of real estate right now, Derek. How do you explain to people not to be afraid to buy?
Yeah, well, it's like Jason said, there's so many opportunities right now, and we're seeing opportunities come from not only the bank-owned properties, but I mean just the retail stuff too. I mean, it's becoming so competitive. And, when we talk about investing and being in that the opportunity to invest, I mean, it's first-time home buyers too. Mm-hmm. You're investing in your wealth and your future wealth, and we're bringing people in, and they're finding just a great example Jason just gave. A home that was $450, in 06, 07, and they're picking it up for $250. But they also went through a situation, financial situation, and it kind of circles back around to that hope. You put a plan into place, with Todd. If you're going through a situation, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's sooner than you think. But it's not going to happen if you don't tackle it now. And I think that's the big thing. People, when they get into these financial situations, they sit back and they go, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. It doesn't go away. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go away. And there's opportunities that you can have now, even when you're in these situations. And I mean, the opportunities in real estate right now are just fantastic.
I don't have any disagreement with this at all. It's incredibly important to understand that when we look back 20 years from now, we'll probably say this was the best opportunity of our lifetime to build net worth by using real estate. The issue is that you have people who are in paralysis. On the one hand, in the scenario that you just described, you got people who've got the bird in the hand, which is the house that is now potentially under the current mortgage amount that they've got a short sale, and then they look out into the world and they see these incredible buys. So they look out there, they want to buy the house, but then they forget that they're going to take a beating on their house as well. The truth is, that's really not such a problem when you're in a move-up market such as the one you just described, because remember, if you see a 30% reduction on a smaller home, that 30% reduction in terms of real dollars is going to be a lot less than the home that's $500,000 that's now worth only $300,000, and the house that was $200,000 is now worth $120,000. Likewise, not only are you going to gain in that particular situation, but in addition to that, when the market comes back, you've now got a larger asset, and when the value of each one of those houses respectively goes up at 10%, you've got more leverage because you've got a bigger asset. So you win when you sell, and you win when the market appreciates and comes back. So a move-up buyer who goes from a smaller home to a bigger home, although they're losing money on the smaller one, they're buying a home that's lost even more money, so they're getting a better deal, and when the market comes back, they're going to make even more money in terms of building net worth.
So you're saying, in a way, it might be worth taking a little bit of a haircut on a property now if you're in a position to move up because you'll make such a quantum leap.
The market is conducive to do that right now, and the realities are, for the major banks, they're getting government subsidies to let a person off the hook for cents on the dollar, and that's a significant thing. You've got to have yourself in a position to be able to take advantage of the next move, though, and that's the problem. The paralysis is caused by people focusing on where they are and what's going on at this moment, and they're not concerning themselves with where they're going to be next. If you take all of that into consideration, then the broader picture looks like an opportunity rather than just a bad situation.
And this group of asset protection people here really is what you are. You help them build and you help them protect. You experts here, Craig Nestor, Todd Rooker, and Jason and Derek Walgrave. You talk about plans a lot. And what's interesting is you all make different kinds of plans. Talk about what you all do and how you kind of work in concert, but you don't do exactly the same thing.
Well, let me start this off a little bit. This is I deal with a client that's really struggling paying their mortgage, or they're a little bit behind, and they are caught in this uncertainty of there's knocking at the door, there's stuff in my mailbox, I can't answer my phone, my home is being threatened. That's a lot of emotion, and we're making decisions out of that emotion and out of survival, and it's not in an all-encompassing plan. So people will make mistakes. They'll file bankruptcy too early, or they won't include the home in a bankruptcy, and then the second mortgage comes back and garnishes the wages. So you'll see that the mistakes are being made out there just to get me out of this, instead of saying, step back and relax. You have more time than you think. The first thing that I do, Kelly, is I go over the timeline. Look, they're not going to handcuff the soccer mom to the minivan and start putting your stuff out in the yard. Right. I mean, they're afraid. They are afraid. And then there's also, I want to say it's almost the embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
And, will my neighbors find out? And will my church find out? And what about the kids my kids play with? And that's what I love about what Jason does on a short sale. Jason, why don't you speak a little bit about how you interact with the family during a short sale?
You know what? It's a process of, we'll sit down and take a look at, what are the family's goals. One of the first questions I ask is, what happens after the short sale? What are we going to do once we have your home sold and closed? And where are you going to go after that? So it's not just about getting the house sold, because our success rate is almost 90% on the short sales that we take. We get them sold and closed with satisfaction, not just releases. And Todd, I know you can speak passionately about the difference between those two, but we want to put the plan in place, a timeline. You're looking at somewhere between 4 and 6 months from beginning to end. But during that time, we want to make sure that we position the families to make the next move, to get into the rental or whatever the case is. So it's not just about selling the home and that's it. Once that's done, we also want, Todd will come in with the help with credit repair and restoration so that we can help families be in a position that they can potentially buy again in 2 years. So it's about the home and getting it sold and being in a position to recover from a bad deal.
Well, there's more to it than that, though, Jason. I was on a listing appointment with Jason 2 weeks ago, and we were at a 7-figure home in Woodbury, and Jason said very clearly and distinctly to the client, there will not be a sign in your yard, and there'll be no open houses. Mm-hmm. No one's going to know, and we're going to get you out of this, and I'll have an offer in less than a month, and in 72 hours, we had an offer. Jason, speak to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of families think that you have to have a sign in the yard, and you have to have open houses and all this advertising and flyer in the neighborhood and mailers out that this home is for sale and it's a short sale, and that's not the case. We don't have to do a sign. We don't even have to put a lockbox in the front door if you don't want to. It's something that people who are looking for a home are going to know it's for sale, but it doesn't have to be a public spectacle like your traditional or your retail listing would be.
Very cool.
Todd, can you speak just for a minute while we're right here about the distinction, satisfaction of mortgage versus a lien release? Because bankruptcy too early, number one problem. Number two problem is right here.
In all these situations, one of the things that I have to concern myself with at all points is that people will make a decision to do one thing and they go from one bad situation to the next. Everything, if you heard that little segment where that client was good enough to say some good things about me, one of the things you heard her talk about was money management. When you're making decisions about whether or not you should do short sales or bankruptcies or what direction you should go, all of those decisions have to be made from a position of financial accuracy. So when you talk to a person about, the different options, I bring up immediately a comprehensive budget and a money management system. And people, immediately shut down. They say, I can't understand why you're even wasting time talking about this. Don't you understand I'm losing my home? And I say, no, I understand that perfectly. The problem is that you believe that because you're in a bad situation, making a move is going to be a good move, and you may be going from one bad situation to another. The reality is, whether you're 50 feet underwater or 100 feet underwater, you're drowning in either case. And going from a $2,800 a month house payment into a rent payment of $1,800 a month, you can make neither one of those. Doesn't fix the problem. When you go through a short sale, people come to me and they try to determine what direction that they should go. Then I use these professionals to get the job done. And this whole notion that you can't do a short sale and it's a colossal waste of time because it's never going to work out is nonsense. If it's conducted properly by professionals, it will work. At the end of the day, though, having said that, the homeowner is not interested in the home being sold. What they're interested in, because once they come to the conclusion that the home is going, it's no longer about the home. It's now about them and what happens to them afterwards. This is the issue that Craig is bringing up, which is the difference between whether or not you're going to be on the hook for that deficiency, which is the difference between what your outstanding mortgages are and what that home will be paid for, and whether or not you're going to be pursued legally to repay that difference, or whether or not you're going to get what's known as a full satisfaction of deficiency debt, and you'll be able to move on with your life and no longer have to look in the rearview mirror. And remember, you can be pursued for this debt for 10 years, plus our silly government just granted another 10-year extension on top of that. So you can be pursued for 20 years for this deficiency debt. It's a huge impact. And so when you make decisions about short sales, much of it has to do with what happens to me next. And when you've got real estate agents who understand that, now you're in the right position and working with the right people.
It's a big deal. Cover your assets. Todd Rooker, Jason and Derek Walgrave, Craig Nestor, all at your service. 855-835-8500. That's the number to talk with the guys, or to get your own copy of the Financial Crisis Bible. 855-835-8500.
It took her 3 days on the train, looking for some peace and quiet, hope to see the sun again.
WWTC Minneapolis, St. Paul.
A service of Salem Communications.
Is it possible to buy real estate in your IRA or 401k? Absolutely. Hi, I'm Todd Grill, president of Entrust Midwest. We are the leading third-party administrator for self-directed IRAs and 401ks in the upper Midwest. We provide the record-keeping, administration, and government reporting to allow you to use your retirement funds for non-standard investments. If you believe in complete retirement investment diversification and are looking for another source of capital to fund investments, then you should be taking advantage of this powerful retirement concept. Grow your retirement dollars in investments that you have control over, such as real estate, businesses, precious metals, and a host of other investment opportunities. We offer Roth and traditional IRAs, health savings accounts, Coverdell education IRAs, and the new Roth 401k. Visit us at entrustmidwest.com. That's ENTRUST Midwest.com. Or call for a private consultation, 763-559-5363. That's 763-559-5363. Entrust Midwest.
This is an urgent message for all individuals with extremely large credit card debt. No matter how much you owe on your credit cards, the company that has settled more debt than anyone in the U.S. can settle your debt too, while you make one low monthly program payment. You have the opportunity to hear how low your monthly program payment could be for free. This free information is available now simply by calling Freedom Debt Relief at 1-800-936-2026. I repeat, if you have extremely large credit card debt, you now have the ability to reduce your total debt and get one simple low monthly program payment. This could allow you to become debt-free faster than you ever thought possible. But you should act quickly. Call Freedom Debt Relief now to learn how much you can save. 1-800-936-2026. Again, this life-changing information is available for free. To find out how much you may be able to save, call today. 1-800-936-2026. That's 1-800-936-2026. 1-800-936-2026.
Recently, the U.S. Navy delivered tons of food to hungry people halfway around the world.
But you could help someone in your own community simply by donating a can of soup.
Last week, a Navy doctor saved the life of a total stranger.
Just like you could, by giving a pint of blood.
Right now, a Navy captain is providing guidance to 5,000 young men and women at sea.
while there's at least one young person in your neighborhood who could use your guidance.
Next month, a team of Navy Seabees will change a child's life by building a school in an impoverished area.
You could do the same, simply by volunteering once a week to read at a school right down the street.
The men and women of America's Navy do some amazing things to make the world a better place. So can you. Whether it's by donating food or simply giving time, right in your own backyard. Brought to you by America's Navy.